Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing my 192nd Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being a Void Cadet Gomez and Strike Suit. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that this figure comes in a very large box with a schematic of the Strike Suit, and if we turn the box around, we can see another schematic of the back side of the Strike Suit. And if we remove the slipcover, we can see some really great artwork of Gomez in the Strike Suit. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at Void Cadet Gomez. Now I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one, and I'm sorry I've been slipping on trying to get this video out. But you know, I'm finally getting a chance to actually open this guy up and take a look at him, and holy crap, this thing is freaking awesome. So let's just get right into it. So this is just your pretty much standard Gomez, you know, standard Gomez head, but the suit is great. The red and white is just so bold and vibrant, those really white boots, almost yellowish soles at the bottom. You even got the little Mezco M right there at the bottom. If you can see that, I think that looks really cool too. White gloves, again, the white trim all over this thing, I think looks really cool. Very Mork from Orc, Adam Strange, Power Ranger, sci-fi thing. I think it works really cool. I love even the shoulder pads back here. You know, they're definitely just doing their own sci-fi type of vibe to that, and I think it's really cool. I even love the high collar. That looks really great as well. Very simple suit, nothing too crazy dynamic about it, but I love it, and it totally works for this character. Now moving on to accessories, we of course do get the Mezco circular base stand, which I always do love. It just says Void Wars there, and then we got an image of Gomez, and of course that comes with your clear articulated arm. We also get a bunch of interchangeable hands, which pretty much do with every freaking Gomez. You know, closed-fisted hands, finger-pointing hands, trigger finger hands, stylized posing hands, flipping the bird hands, all that kind of stuff you're really gonna need for this guy. But we also get a bunch of accessories too, like his blaster with a holster. We get a little mini boom boom. That's really cool. I do love that thing a lot. We get holsters for that. We get a new type of harness vest thing for holding on his jetpack, face mask, breathers, things like that. All that stuff is very, very cool. So again, you just do get a ton of things for that. But we also do get some like blast effects and different types of beam effects for things like his laser, or excuse me, his laser blaster, even some jetpack propulsion effects, which I think are all very cool. So, you know, since he does come with so much, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of dress up with our boy Gomez here. So here's just one look you can get with this guy. So I went in and put his like harness on with a nice pearlized metallic V right there on the suit, in front of the suit. Looks super cool. And I went again and put his face mask on, which I think is so dope. You got these clear blue lenses, and then you got his kind of like mandibles or whatever those are called coming peeking through there. I think that's really cool how they fit that around there. But then you got this hose that actually connects to his backpack there, which looks really great. And then you have his little boom boom and his little saber, and then you got his holstered his blaster right there too, and everything fits like that, which again I just think looks super cool. And I just love this little boom boom. It's totally decoed to be like look like R2-D2. Again, they're just doing their own sci-fi thing, mix mash of just everything awesome sci-fi. So I love that a lot, man. Now we also do get this really cool jetpack, and I went and put in the effect pieces for that too. What's really cool about this is just magnetized, and that just attaches right on there, even with the boom boom and all that stuff attached to the belt. Of course, it might fry boom boom just a little bit, but still, I think that's super cool that it actually fits. And again, Mezco's always done this since the beginning with their magnetized attachments and things like that. I think it's super smart, and they just did a really good job with that. And man, that just looks so freaking badass. So now we have another look with this guy. I went ahead and popped his collar on around here, which you're gonna see what it's for in a second. But we have a new head sculpt here where he's definitely more angry, showing his teeth. This eye's over here twitching, so I think that's pretty cool. But we're gonna take this dome piece that's gonna kind of connect to the back of that collar like that, and you're gonna kind of adjust his antenna here. They're gonna go through the top. There are little holes right there, and we're gonna take this front piece of this dome and kind of just snap it in place. Can be a little tricky, but there you go. And now we have a very old school sci-fi bubble dome look that we've seen in old school, again, sci-fi comics and shows and things like that, which I think is very cool, man. It almost kind of like magnifies his head a bit, right? So it's just a really cool look. I think it's always fun to have more options. That's never a bad thing. And again, just getting this old school sci-fi vibe really gets me. Now, taking a closer look at this Boom Boom, this is a very essential piece to the set, in my opinion, because this does kind of double as Gomez's quote-unquote lightsaber, which I think is great. And as you can see, this thing does have a little wire that runs down from the handle to the actual Boom Boom itself. That is because you can put some button cell batteries in here, and you can actually use that little tool that you were given to turn on a little switch on the side like that, and you'll see the little LED starting to light up. Of course, this can detach, and it's going to be held as like a handle. And what's really cool is, again, I love this because you can attach a blade to it, again, to give it that more lightsaber vibe, which I think is really awesome, man. Again, I just love the fact that you can actually remove the blade and still have it lit up. But of course, you do want to be very careful with this wire, because this is the wire that's actually holding the electronics to keep this thing lit up. So just be very careful. You don't want to tear that or rip it in anything like that. But again, pop this in Gomez's hand, turn off some lights, and it looks freaking incredible. That is so cool how they were able to give us a working lightsaber at this scale. It's pretty genius, man. Again, they're just doing their own sci-fi thing, which I think is great. Again, giving us stuff like this is where, in my opinion, Mezco goes above and beyond, and that is why I love this line. Okay, so now let's just talk about this behemoth of a thing that Mezco has done. I freaking cannot believe they even gave us a full-on 1/12 scale mech suit. I never saw that coming, and holy crap, this thing is so rad. It's just mind-blowing that they even did something like this. So I mean, looking at the details in the cockpit here just looks really cool. You can see the padding for like the seating. I have a little bit of white paint rub from my Gomez figure being put in and out of there, but it looks like even on like the sides you see, like, I don't know if those are supposed to be like speakers where you can listen to some tunes while he's flying around. I think that's super dope. But then you have different scanners and buttons and switches and things like that. I love the reader that we get towards the front, that translucent green with the handles on there. Again, this just looks so freaking cool. Now, how this actually does work, you do get a little button in there at the very bottom, and I like to use a little tool that they gave us, so you can push that, and that opens up that cockpit, that pops that open, which is really cool. And then this whole thing is a separate piece, but these handles in here can be moved around, so if you get good fit your Gomez in there and get a good grip. So I do like that a lot. And it's pretty cool because you can just take a Gomez, take your Void Cadet Gomez, I should specifically say, get him in a little crouching position, like he's actually sitting like that, and get him in there like so, pop him in, you know, fit the hands around the handles. I'm not gonna do that right now, but I do notice his antenna for his actual head, there's a little plastic piece that you can see right there that constantly kind of want to hit when you put the figure in. So you just kind of position them in the right way. But you can close this whole thing down, give it a nice push because it will lock right there, and there you go. There we have our Gomez inside this thing. He even comes with actual antenna like he does on his own head. And these are a nice metal wire, almost like a metal wire hanger, you know what I mean, that you can actually plug in up here to make him even more impressive and make him look more like Gomez, like an actual roach thing, which is pretty wild. So I'm just gonna take those off for the sake of the review, because they're kind of in the way, to be honest with you. But that's just pretty cool, man, how he fits in there. Now, just taking a look at the details of this thing, you get lots of cool signage and symbols and emblems, even things like caution signs, which are really nice, really add to the realness of this thing. But then you see the dirtiness and the griminess and the muck. This thing has really been through space and all kinds of different battles, which I think is great. Even inside the hand, he has some type of like blaster inside the palm of his hand, which I think is very cool. Even down to the feet, lots of great detail. The back of the legs have all kinds of nice nice rusted metal and things like that. Moving up to his butt, he even has a little fuel area. I guess that's where they actually put the fuel in for this guy, which I'm not sure if that's what these green things are on his back. Maybe those are fuel tanks, like energy tanks. I'm not really sure, but again, I'll show you what those are for in a little bit here. But again, seeing all the different caution signs and things like that really add to this thing. And even looking towards the top, we have a little panel that you can remove and put in some batteries that this thing does come with, and I'll show you what those are here for shortly. Now, the strike suit does have a couple hidden features, like these shoulder missiles that just have a little button on the side. You pop that latch open and reveals 8 hidden missiles in each shoulder. Even down the center of the thing, more towards the crotch, you can reveal a Gatling gun right out there, and that's just very suggestive. But man, that is very deadly and very cool. Now, this thing does have a light and sound effects feature with just a simple push of a button on the back. I'm going to go ahead and cycle through the different lights and sound effects that we do get here. Now, even the strike suit here comes with an actual accessory in the form of his own giant freaking lightsaber. Oh my god, this thing is massive. I mean, you can see me hold it in my hand. It's like a pretty, decent sized knife almost, but I love the translucent plastic here. And this thing also does have an LED feature, so you have a little button just right here you can push on, and you can kind of see it lighting up already. And this thing does fit in the hands of your figure here, since it does have those knuckles and a proper gripping hand. Turn off some lights, and look how badass that thing looks. That is just crazy to see that not only does Gomez have a working lightsaber, but so does the strike suit. That's super impressive. Now, as you guys can kind of see, I've had him in like a crouched position this whole time, just so I can kind of get him in frame, because he's so freaking big, dude. My workstation is fairly small, but since he is pretty articulated, you can just stand him up a little more straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those legs down like that, and you can just hear the tight ratchets for this guy, which are so appreciative, like that. And you can really stand him up and just look freaking impressive. Oh my god. So let me go ahead and break this down real quick while I'm here. His arms are ratcheted at the shoulder. They can go all the way up like that. That works out really cool. You can rotate right there at the bicep. We do get a single bend at the elbow. These fingers are articulated, especially in these two here. You got individual digits. You can see the little pins where they can actually full on bend like actual fingers at the different knuckles, which I think is really cool. You know, the hip joints can kick forward and up all the way back that much, which is really cool. Same thing at the knees, can get those really nice and tucked in. The feet can go up and down, you get a little bit of an ankle rocker. The toes do articulate. I mean, it is crazy how much articulation is actually built in this guy, who's just so freaking huge, man. They did such a great job with this. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a White Assassin Gomez and Union Gomez. And to see how big that strike suit actually is, here is Void Cadet Gomez standing next to the strike suit. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of Void Cadet Gomez and Vortex Strike Suit. Now, first of all, the Gomez figure itself is always badass. I love getting a new Gomez, but this whole crossover sci-fi thing that they're doing, even it calling it the Void Wars, which is a play on Star Wars, is super cool. Again, it has all these really cool sci-fi things mixed into one. I love the fact that he comes with all this really cool space gear and flight suits and jetpacks. I love the fact that he actually has a working lightsaber. I think that's so freaking cool, man. That's some things that we never really see from any type of company. but oh my god, that strike suit is unbelievable. That's something that I think that none of us saw coming. The amount of detail that's packed into the thing, the fact that it's 1/12 scale and you could pop in an action figure that with really sweet LED features, sound effects, really decent articulation, and just the fact that that thing has its own working lightsaber. What the hell, Mezco? You guys went above and beyond with this piece. This is one of the greatest things that I think I've ever really owned. I love this thing that much. It is a great, fun, and excellent piece, and I think you would look awesome in your Mezco collections. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.